1930? Manhattan. A New York Supreme Court judge ate dinner, stepped onto a crowded sidewalk near Broadway, raised a hand for a cab, and vanished. Joseph Force Crater disappeared in plain view. 90 years later, the sidewalk still looked guilty under rain. Crater was 41, polished, political, careful with his cuffs. He had come up through Tammany circles and landed on the bench fast. Men like that left fingerprints on rooms without touching anything. His initials still sat on old stationery like a threat. He had a wife, Stella, and a summer place in Maine. He also had habits he kept in the city, away from clean porch light. The thing is, a man can keep separate lives for years, right up until the night the seams split. By August, he had cut short a Maine vacation after a phone call. He told Stella he needed to handle business in New York and would return. The train smoke, the salt on his coat, the hurried goodbye, small details. They stay put. New York helped men disappear. Elevated trains screamed overhead, cabs splashed gutter water, and 1,000 collars moved at once. Midtown around West 45th Street carried theater crowds, political fixers, girls in silk, reporters with bad shoes, and cops too busy to look twice. Crater's office in the courthouse had the smell all law rooms get after dark. Dust, ink, hot paper, stale tobacco. Before he vanished, he had clerks carry away files, tear up papers, clear drawers. That kind of housekeeping never made me comfortable. The last known route ran through Manhattan like a straight razor. He spent the day on calls and appointments, then met company for dinner at Billy Haas's Chophouse on West 45th Street. Liquor, talk, cigar smoke caught in the ceiling fans. On my desk sat a grainy photograph of Crater in a straw boater, chin lifted, confidence buttoned tight. Next to it lay witness statements typed on brittle paper. The scratch of my pen over their margins sounded louder than the radiator. The timeline was simple enough to fit on one card. August 6th, 1930. Afternoon business. Evening dinner with attorney William Klein and showgirl Sally Lou Ritz. Around 9:15 p.m., Crater walked out of Billy Haas's and was never confirmed again. There was missing property in the margins. Crater had cashed checks for sizable sums before he went. He carried cash. A briefcase entered some tellings.
Vanished from others. The record says certainty. The record lies. Then there were the papers removed from chambers. He had sent for 2 confidential files and a packet of personal documents. Some were destroyed, some were never found. A judge tidying his desk in a hurry always made my lamp burn hotter. The official version came in stages because nobody wanted the first version on record.
Friends muttered about a weekend with a woman, then a longer trip, then nerves. By September, absence hardened into scandal, and scandal hardened into investigation. Police treated it as missing person, then possible murder, then political contamination. Detectives chased hotel registers, train manifests, cab leads.
Out-of-state rumors. They found chatter in every borough, and proof nowhere. Gone. No trace. Grand juries circled the case. Newspapers fed on it by the column inch. Crater's name became shorthand for vanishing clean out of public sight. Officially, no killer was identified, no body recovered, no death scene fixed, and no charge ever held. Years later, the state had him declared legally dead. The file thinned the way old files do.
One clerk at a time.
Carbon copies faded to blue ghosts.
The formal answer became absence itself. He disappeared, case unsolved, shelves closed around him. I never liked the timing. Crater rushed back from Maine, cleaned his office, handled money, dined publicly, then stepped into the city and evaporated. That sequence had shape. The kind that came from pressure.
Not chance. That's the part that doesn't add up. Sally Lou Ritz gave statements that mattered because she was there at the table. Details around the goodbye shifted over time. So did gossip around Crater's company and appetites.
A witness changing cadence years later made paper sound slippery in my hands. Then there was Vivian Gordon, a woman tied to vice, blackmail, and Tammany men. She was murdered in 1931 while investigators worried over Crater's circle. Her death did not prove his fate. It stained the edges of the same map. One old lead said Crater had information dangerous to political allies. Another said he skimmed, took favors, and knew too much about judgeships bought in back rooms. Some cases stay cold for a reason. Cold kept names alive longer than honesty would. Theory 1 was simple street violence. He left the restaurant with cash, hired a cab, met the wrong men, and ended up in a river or an industrial furnace. New York had enough dark basements then to bury a scream under boiler noise. Theory 2 pointed inward. Political cleanup. Crater knew who paid whom, which appointments were fixed.
Which vice operations connected back to men with silk hats and city pole. A judge turning unreliable could become a problem, best removed between dinner and midnight. Theory 3 carried perfume and panic. He planned a disappearance with a mistress, cash in his pocket, new papers waiting. I never bought it whole. Men building a new life usually packed more than rumors and half-erased ledgers. After the headlines cooled, sightings kept crawling in from everywhere.
California, Europe, small towns where bartenders swore they knew his jawline. None held. The only solid remains were the papers he destroyed, the money he moved, and the sidewalk that gave nothing back. What I knew after years with cold cases was this. Disappearances in crowded places usually depended on preparation, protection, or both. Crater's last night smelled arranged. Too much cleaning before, too much silence after. The file never closes. I kept his photograph under amber light and the last route marked in pencil from Chambers to Chophouse to Curb. No body, no final witness worth trusting, no clean answer. Where would you look next if this were your case? Tell me. The desk stays cold. The questions don't.